First thing we will review is our Easy Process, which is our no-code and low-code software development platform. You can use it for mobile apps, web apps, REST APIs, and batch applications. There are also two different kinds of applications that you can build. REST APIs, where you actually want to host these APIs for some third party, where they can call it to do some transactions inside your enterprise. And batch applications, where PO, non-user interactive, just something simply running in batch, just to scan all the new orders and send out email confirmation. That is an example of batch applications, but you can do all these things with our platform. You know it's not just a mobile app or a web app across the board. We want to show you what you can do then. What kind of web app can you build? What kind of mobile app? So for example, a vendor onboarding where your vendor goes through an approval process. E-commerce, which is online ordering and customer service portal. AP invoice automation, where you can scan invoices with OCR. And that's just some examples. There isn't anything you cannot do with our platform that you can do with C# or Java, any kind of traditional programming language. You can do mobile apps, which is PO approval and work order approval. These will be like PO app, not an app that is running a browser or you go to Safari, but you actually download the app. Scan to register your app and utilize the app using mobile-specific features like a camera, a microphone, or text messages, those kind of things. We support that. And you can also mix and match because a lot of mobile apps like PO approval might need a web version because you want your non-manager people who are working at the desk to approve the app. So you always have that combination available. And then of course, REST API, inbound sales order API. That's another example you want to host. You know an API which is pure plug and play API, someone can call it to create a sales order in your system through their purchase order again. You don't have to do it, but that's the other kind of things you can create with our REST API interface. And then you can also create batch order. In this example, the batch process could be to upload Shopify orders to JDE. So they are all kinds of apps you can develop. So then we talk about we have no code and low code. So what does that even mean? Why do we have both? So we have designed no code, and no code is the newest version. Low code, like Doug said, is 19 years old and it has been growing since then. No code is 1.5 to 2 years old. We recently introduced, after learning all those years of low code, that there is a space to do a no code, where it can be used by people who are not so much programming savvy, people who are business analysts. They can do business processes, they can do workflow, they can do forms, but they can, by doing that, greatly contribute their part in a development of software that an IT department usually does. And that's what we are seeing that in our no-code, low-code approach before, since it's all driven by programmers, they contribute so much pretty much at the meeting room, the business analysts and the users who can usually contribute a lot to the process that you are developing. They cannot go beyond some page drawings that you draw on the board. And that's where there's a lot of miscommunications. And you'll see that when I show you some examples or some actual screens. No code will bring them into the same development in a managed way. At the same time, you don't want a business analyst to start writing and calling business functions in JDE, right? You don't want to do that either. So it brings them in a managed way so that they can contribute in a no-code environment, which is a more of a contained environment. And you can still allow them to do a lot of things, and we'll see that. And then, of course, low code is designed for programmers. Programmers who can do JD Edwards programming or C# or Java or JavaScript. All of them. They can easily work with our low code. They can also use no code definitely because that's pretty much like a kid's play for them. The no code, still it's the fact that they can use it too. That's where they contribute. They can do a complete prototyping with an actual functional screen and everything with our no code. And then you can go and say with no code, you can do simple forms where you have data that you can take, data you can write to JDE, everything you can do. And then no code, you can enhance it. You don't have to rewrite it. You can enhance the existing business process. You can enhance the existing workflow, the existing forms, and swap them in your low code written widgets and forms, which are much more powerful, much better looking. And if you want, you can bring all CSS JavaScript into it. So yes, I would say you don't have to rewrite it. You can actually enhance the existing one a lot. And you'll see that in our no code, it's not just drawing and designing, it is a full fledged programming language too. And it is so well tied with low code that the question you ask, you'll have an automatic answer to once I start showing you. But they integrate, they go hand in hand. You see this line here? See this? An IT department should use no code, low code in tandem to its advantages by assigning proper resources to each side. And that's what I would say you would see. They can complement each other. They don't have to be if or if else. They can actually be part of the same team, and you will see that. So for business leading members of the IT, your solution architects, your business analysts, people whose only job is to architect solutions, they can focus on no code and develop the entire business process, where your programming resources should focus on widgets and methods that can be developed in no code. Because as I said in the beginning, you don't want your people with no programming skills to start calling business functions or start writing to JD Edwards. That's where we come with low code, where you as an IT programming resource provide access to all these methods and widgets. That's what we say through low code to the no code users, and there are various ways to do it. We have libraries where you can download your stuff from the public library that we host, or you can, at your company level, you can create your own libraries for all the no code users in your enterprise to use. And your IT manages that company library, which can all have all kinds of low code methods, whether it's a business function, cost, whether they're orchestrations. These days, if you have orchestrations, we don't even talk about business functions. We don't, that's pretty much automated, but at the same time, business functions have the advantages too, because all there, you don't have to use it. So it's a preference of your IT department, which way you want to integrate with JDE. But the point remains that with this low code and no code, proper adjustment, you can create apps, you can build apps at a much faster scale, and also involve everyone in the process. We also have a low code user guide and a no code user guide. Both types of training to work with, both types of documentation available. Infrastructure. So how does all this happen? What are we going to do? Are we going to install something at your place? Are we going to do it in the cloud? We are a SaaS cloud-based platform. So pure SaaS is not something we are hosting for you. We have to have a good, fully operable SaaS software, because otherwise it's very difficult to maintain a programming platform, because changes are happening at a very quick pace. So we have a SaaS cloud-based platform where we maintain everything in the cloud. You are running everything in a multi-tenant setup, so you can create multiple applications inside a tenant. Of course, they're an application and size depending on what kind of license you want to purchase, but there's no limit based on what you can do. There are unlimited license, but the fact remains that you can create many applications in a tenant, and your company will be assigned a tenant. That's what you'll be in our multi-tenant environment. Now, one of the questions I want to answer right now is we can have a dedicated AWS resources for you. By the way, we are all in AWS and have many, around 6 or 7 places worldwide where we have what we call platforms hosted. You'll be a tenant, but at the same time, you can we dedicate resources for you for AWS resources. So if you are using way more resourcing power and you wanted to use a dedicated SQL server or dedicated app server, we have what we call tenant-based topology, allows you to have your own servers. But even then, you're still part of the same SaaS platform. So the upgrades are automated. All the features you are getting, everyone is getting at the same time. And here's one thing I want to say. You have all these environments. You have DV, QA, and PD with our install. So every time, once you set up a tenant for you, for every app, you get DV, QA, and PD. For all your users automated. So you do development in DV, promote to QA for testing, and then promote to PD. And with every installation, you also get IDE. IDE means where you do the development. There's two versions of IDE. There's a no code and there's a low code. So that in total, you have 5 environments that's part of our infrastructure. We call IDEs. Sometimes we also call design time or DT across in our normal when you talk. And the users are also where users use. We call that runtime or also RT. So we have all these environments for you, and everything is browser based. Of course, the users are browser based, but even all IDE users are browser based. You will not have to install anything. You are working with the office computer, you log out, you log in, and all the objects you're working on from your home computer are right there in your browser. So here's the upgrade process, which is very important. You don't want to run a version which is a year late, because then you're missing out on all the features we are adding, which we are adding religiously, at a pace so that we can have all the newest features you want. Sometimes you want a new feature and you request us to do something, so the upgrades are added. I can quickly take you to the platform here, and you can see that they're available for every tenant, every user, to see how we are upgrading our product. So you know that, yes, we are at 538 revision number for our low code. No code, I'll take you to quickly to our no code, right? And log into our low code IDE. They have their own version, and there's the version. So this is design time version. That's what they said, its own division number. So we are upgrading this also. And then, of course, there's a runtime revision that you saw there too. So revisions are maintained by us. You don't have to worry about operating with this platform. I just want to give you a quick example. If you use Salesforce, you're never worried about any upgrades. We kind of have the same philosophy. We are taking care of the upgrades. You don't have to worry, your IT department doesn't have to worry about the upgrades. And then the next question people ask then, how do you know about the upgrade? Yeah, you know what you are doing. You can subscribe to our forum, and that forum is here. Let me go to the product announcements. This is public, so you can go through, and we have, as you see, very weekly. You can keep going, just to show that there is every week you can find the upgrades we have done to the platform. So this is what we did almost a year before you go here. And you can see all the design time changes we did, column fix, all the runtime changes we fix right now in the latest announcements. You will see 3 sections now. There's a platform upgrade, there's a design time low code, and there's a design time no code. So now we are maintaining 2 different IDEs, like I said in the beginning, along with it the runtime. And then if you subscribe to it, then you will get the schedule right there, when we are planning to do these upgrades every week. If you are used to any SaaS-based platform, which is true SaaS, fully upgraded, you probably get these kind of schedule notices all the time with those vendors. And we have like a 2 days of break. So there you go. That's why we send this. It will tell you the exact dates. On Wednesday, May 22nd, QA environment for these will be upgraded, and then when the production will be applied. And we generally do Monday to Wednesday. So you have to wait 2 days to test it in a non-project. And then you can decline the update at that point. If you find a bug, you can tell us and we'll fix it. If you feel like, no, this bug cannot go, we will not do a production upgrade. So that's the goal. That's how we would like to approach this. That's why we give you 2 days to feel like there's a major upgrade. So we alert some of our customers so they will actively go and look into it. But that's the idea. Because all the apps that you will see that quickly as we go into one of these exercises, that yes, our database that you have, it's a cloud-based platform. That doesn't mean we are using a text-based database to do everything. We actually provision a SQL server. For every tenant, we provision a SQL Server schema for you and every app. So when you create an app and you create a database table into our app, which we call entities, you are behind the scenes working with real-time SQL Server databases or tables, which also means that you can build enterprise-ready apps where you can host, you can have 1 million records in there, and you will run the app, and the app will run just fine. Of course, you may want to a dedicated SQL Server at some point of time, but the architecture, the infrastructure supports all that. It's a heavy duty app builder, not just SharePoint, where I know you are familiar, how much you are familiar with SharePoint or Microsoft App Builder, but they don't have RDBMS behind the scenes. But we do. The Provision PRDS, which is a SQL Server behind the scenes for you, fully updated. All gets updated, backup every 20 minutes with a snapshot, and then every day it's the rotating backup of 30 days. So till 30 days, you have a backup for every 30 minutes, and that's actually something you can purchase from AWS, and we do that. Well, that concludes our no-code overview. If you'd like more information on our platform, feel free to contact us at info@krisesystems.com. Thank you again for watching our video, and we hope you'll check out all the other videos on our no-code platform.